Ohtani, and if you do, he immediately demands a trade.
He should.
And if he does, who cares? Exactly. You think you can't win with Trout. He's been there for 12 years.
Yes, he should be looking and exploring other options. The only thing I can think of is maybe the Angels are thinking if we at least keep Shohei in house, other people can't use him.
What kind of an attitude is that? How is it like? What does that do for you? Hey, we got him, and
we're not going to be
suck,
there,
but you guys are really good, and someone's going to win the World Series, but you're not going to do it with Shohei Ohtani.
The vindictive mentality.
Isn't that incredibly vindictive?
The only thing I can think of that makes any sense.
Like,
whatsoever.
wouldn't that drive him insane? Like, I don't know enough about Ohtani. I don't know enough about Trout based on their personalities, and they're not being interviewed all the time. But if that were the case, like if it were to come out that basically the Angels are out of spite saying we're keeping you because we don't want anyone else to be able to say that they have Shohei Ohtani.
I don't know.
Isn't that like
the only thing,
storming into the front office and freaking?
Backdoor conversations with Ohtani where there's some understanding where they're thinking, if you stay here, let us work on something. Let us, maybe they think there's still a chance of convincing him.
Not easy being a GM.
It is certainly
I'll tell you
not
that.
easy being a GM.
It's not easy being a coach either. I don't know which one I'd rather be.
Isn't it wonderful when those segues just work out beautifully for you?
It's right there on a tee. Joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline, one of the great coaches of all time.
Yes.
And I'm sure he plans on being one of the great GMs of all time. He's the new GM down in Nashville with the Predators. Here's Barry Trotz. How you doing, Barry?
I'm doing well.
Doing well. Is that an accurate assessment of your ambition here? You want to be one of the great GMs of all time? Take us through the process, going from coach to GM, and why you decided to take this new venture on.
Well, I think it was situational and timing and all the above. Last spring, I was let go by the Islanders. And, had some opportunities through the summer, but I had some personal things with my parents and my wife's parents that I had to take care of, and it took all summer, and I really, felt that it was very important that I got through that, and it really didn't allow me to probably prepare to coach to start the season. And so around December, a couple teams reached out to me. I think they also reached out to David Poyle, who was, in the process of thinking about maybe retiring, and that tipped them off. And I think he talked to Lou to talk to me, and sort of put it on my plate if I'd be interested into not only coaching, because there's some teams that were reaching out, but also maybe in a management role. And I thought about it, and I thought that'd be a great challenge. I was back in Nashville. Nashville's become my home. I started there, and I thought way to sort of round out my career. I've coached a long time and up for a new challenge, I guess.
Barry, you've done just about every role. You spent time as a scout, as a head coach, obviously. What has been the biggest adjustment into stepping into the GM role at the NHL level?
Probably the best way to describe it is a lot more hours and your a lot of the stuff that you do as a coach. If you don't play in the Stanley Cup Finals, you're done probably. I'd say the end of May, and you really, you do some stuff during the summer, but you really don't get cranked up probably to the middle of August. I think with a general manager, your schedule really gets cranked up right around the trade deadline, and it works its way right through to the middle of July, through free agency, all the meetings with your scouts. So the best way to describe it for me, as a coach, you are, you're sort of chained down to as a general manager, you're the situation and whatever that situation.
All right, we're going to throw Barry on hold, see if we can get him. That phone was immediately fighting it. We had issues with O, too, last hour.
We thought the O was just clowning us, though.
Yeah, there was a chance that was him just messing around.
Barry wouldn't do that to us.
No, he's a man of integrity. Barry Trotz wouldn't do that.
Maybe there's storms going on in Nashville right now.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. Maybe he's back in Manitoba. I don't know.
Might be.
It's possible. He's in BC. Okay. Yeah, but that phone immediately was an issue. So we'll see what happens. See if we can get him back.
The first place my mind always goes is, are people golfers and are they good? What do you think Barry's handicap is?
I don't know. I assume he plays golf. I don't know why I make that assumption. Do you know? Do you happen to know?
I don't know. That's what makes this game fun.
Is he a 15 handicap? give or take, could see him being a little grinder. Great short game.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, good around the greens.
Yeah,
but
gets it off the
maybe
tee.
Slices.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know how much he gets to play though. Like you said, as a coach, once your season's done, you got the whole summer off to do whatever you want.
It's true. So you're going 15.
GM, not so much. Yeah, I would say 15.
I'll go a little higher. I'll say 18 to 19.
Okay, here he is. Barry Trotz is back with us. You got us, Barry?
Yes, I do.
Yes. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, we were having some connection issues, but yeah, I'm curious. In terms of this transition, you go from such a long-standing coach and such a successful coach, obviously winning a Stanley Cup down in Washington, and now you're in the GM role, and you've hired Andrew Burnett to be your first coach. He'll be the head coach of the Preds this year. How do you envision that relationship working? Do you hope it's the same way, you and David Poyle worked together, or do you intend on having possibly a more hands-on approach because of your history as a head coach?
Well, I think everybody has their own style. I've learned a lot from David Poyle. I've learned a lot from Brian McClellan. I've learned a lot from Lou Lamoriello in that position. And the unique position I'm in is I know what Andrew's going to go through winning streaks, losing streaks, difficulty handling certain players, whatever. I've already lived that. So the timing conversations, I think, can be really helpful. The secondary thing is I think I can help him manage players a little bit just because of the fact that I have coached for a long time. Mm-hmm. And, if I sit down with a player and Andrew's trying to get a message, I may be able to help Andrew get that message if I talk to the player at a certain time. And really, I sort of got the cachet just because I've coached for so long. I think I will have a really good handle on, the type of players that we want, the type of situations, and how to handle the general manager coach situation timing more not necessarily situational, because every situation is a little different, but the timing of bringing up things, the timing of asking certain questions, and my emotions will dictate a lot of the things. I know I've had general managers who are downstairs and probably questions that are pretty rudimentary with no really substance to it, and you can't really answer them to answering some real tough questions. So I think I've had those experiences, and they'll serve me well. I believe in building rosters a certain way with certain cultures and certain type of people. I think people, obviously people that are driven don't like people who are mediocre, and mediocre people don't like people who are driven. So I'm trying to get driven people to win a championship in Nashville.
Well, two of those guys we're familiar with up here in Toronto. That'd be Ryan O'Reilly and Luke Schenn, two guys you signed on July 1st. Obviously, you believe they're driven. You believe that they're going to supply a certain element of, culture to your room. But what about on the ice? These are two veteran guys, two winners. Both guys have won Stanley Cups. Why did you target O'Reilly and Schenn as quickly as you did?
Well, it was really, for me, I thought Luke Schenn is a player that we needed that profile on the right side. He brings, Morgan Riley in Toronto. He had players in Tampa Bay that he played with, and also in Vancouver. And I have Roman Josi, who sometimes gets targeted by some of the opposition. I think that explains itself. Luke is a guy that recognizes momentum shifts. He did that in Tampa. I think I might have another ring if it wasn't for Luke Schenn recognizing certain situations when I was with the Islanders. So I really felt that he brings a certain old school but new school presence to our hockey club. Ryan O'Reilly, I've had the pleasure of working with Team Canada situations, World Cups, and this guy's he's a sort of a Joel Pavelski type of player who just continues to do the right things, continues to get better, continues to find ways to have an impact in the game. And I want to surround our kids with those type of people. I really targeted three players. It was Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Shen and Gus Magquist. And we got all three of them. So I think I want to we've got a number of young kids that I think I want so that they can grow. I'm a big believer in developing kids the right way. To a certain point, they develop in Milwaukee, but I think the league has changed where you have to develop in your farm system, but you also have to develop them in the NHL a little bit to get to that next step. And I got to have those people in place that can allow them to continue to grow, continue to learn from. So that was sort of my mandate when I went in. I was going to change the culture. I was going to change and put people in place that on the right seats on the bus, if you will, and let our kids grow and give our kids a path to grow and get in the lineup and have impact.
Well, as you said, you went 3 for 3 on the players you wanted. So great start. Enjoy the rest of the summer and good luck next year. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Barry Trotz, GM of the Nashville Predators.
You love when phone calls drop it. That's
2G.
your favorite thing ever.
Yeah, can they get him well, he's out in BC. BC is the worst. Like, we had that with Ray. Like, Ferraro would be on in like 2 or 3 times a week.
Really?
His phone would drop. I don't know. Was it mountains? Like, what the issue is? I'm not sure what it was. But anyway, it's an interesting approach, and what he said there about developing players at the NHL level, that's true.
Yeah.
Because they're coming in younger than they used to. They're coming in like on an entry-level deal, which is important to try to take advantage of players on the cheap. So you expedite the process. You get them up here that much quicker. And it's one of those things you can't quantify. It's not tangible, but you got to have a feel for it. And Barry Trotz's been around the game for a long time, and he's obviously decided that's something that has to happen.
Well, I mean, he seems to get it. Like you said, these guys are coming in younger and younger, and he seems to understand that you have to bring them along a certain way. You have to maybe put a little bit more into the development than you used to in the past. And he talked a lot about one of the main reasons he wanted to bring in Andrew Brunette was to bring back that iconic Predators culture again. And he seems to know exactly where he wants to take this team. He has a clear blueprint, and he's setting it into motion. He went out and got the 3 guys he wanted. Mm-hmm. He got the head coach he wanted. I think it's going to be an interesting year. A lot of people are kind of on the fence of where they're going to land in the Central. It's a tough division. Are they going to be rebuilding, or are they going to be competing for the top 3? Like, I can maybe see them around that 3 spot, maybe.
Well, like, you look at Winnipeg is in that fight.
They're going to be in the basement.
Yeah, they very well could be if they flip Hellebuck, which I don't think they're going to do now. Like, I think they're coming back with Hellebuck, but things are turning over there a little bit. Minnesota's a good team. They're not a great team. You got Colorado, you got Dallas.
Dallas.
Those 2 teams. St. Louis, do they bounce back? I'm not sure. I'm not holding my breath on that. So, yeah, there could be that 3rd spot. As of now, you would think Colorado and Dallas have a good shot of holding on to 2 of the top 3 within the division. And maybe Trotz and company feel like Nashville can get back into that. They've been a perennial playoff team. Like, they just missed this year, but they got hot down the stretch. And, for the most part, though, Nashville's in it basically every year. They've been accustomed to certainly being a playoff team.
And now we'll never know what Barry's handicap was.
No, that's true. Just the phone wasn't going to hold up, then you got to explain it, and you know how it is. Barry Trotz joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota, and check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. It's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Jason Grilli, former MLB reliever, will join us, host of the Mound Visit podcast, a little bit later this hour. His take on the Ohtani sweepstakes. What does he make of Marcus Stroman and his availability? And the Jays in the second half, the clubhouse in the second half. When you're a veteran team, a good team, he's been in the league for a long time. He was in the league for a long time. Is there a different vibe around the clubhouse once you get post All-Star break? So we'll catch up with Grilli a little bit later this hour. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, Jason Grilli will join us here in a few moments. Try to get confirmed or deny in later this afternoon. Jays Padres tonight. Saw out in Calgary that the Flames are going to retire Mika Kiprasov's number 34, which I found interesting.
Are you not in favor of that?
It's not about favor or not favor. I got to be careful what I say because Noodles will storm through the store and drop kick me in the head. Like, that's his guy.
Yeah.
And I know he was great. And he was a huge part of the 04 Cup team. Just, I don't know. I guess I didn't think, like, was it long enough? And I guess it was. Like, clearly it was long enough and great enough for them to say, absolutely, that number should be retired. Like, he was a great Flame. I'm not disputing that. But I don't know. Like, a jersey retirement, you think like a good 8 to 10 year run of, like, elite status. But I guess if you were to look over their history, like, would Mike Vernon be the man in Calgary and then Mika Kiprasov? Like, those are the two guys. Like, Vernon was there in 89 when they won. And then Kipper had a great run.
I'm good with Kipper's number being retired. I don't know that there's a ton of guys. I mean, every sport's so different. Like, some guys are egregious why they're not retired. Like, not to jump over to NBA, but why isn't Michael Jordan retired?
Yeah, league-wide, you're saying.
You know what? Yeah. Like,
I
mean,
agree.
obviously, we're not going to retire Mika Kiprasov league-wide. Like, for Flames, different
but you're right.
story
Like,
within just the team. But there's some that don't make sense.
It's insane that LeBron wears number 23.
Or that he'd want to go back to 23.
Well, it's just goofy. And now it was just like Kobe going to 24. Like that, everyone knew it was one more than 23.
Right.
Like we all understood.
So Kobe.
Of course,
and that's fine.
Was.
But like Kobe wanted to stand on his own and not stand in anyone's shadow. LeBron is literally picking numbers that are more associated with another player.
Yeah.
For someone who seems to have the ego that LeBron has, I don't get it. It's not very on brand for him.
I never understood it either. And to your point, it was announced, I believe, yesterday, he's going back to 23 because number 6 has been retired league-wide for Bill Russell.
Yes.
And I'm with you. Like, why is 23 not retired league-wide? That is absurd that Michael Jordan's...
I feel like it'd be the best thing ever if LeBron's like, I'm going to go back to 23. And Adam Silver goes, actually, LeBron, we've decided to retire for MJ.
Hate to break it to you.
Pick another number.
But it's a good point, though. Will they co-retire it after LeBron is retired?
No, that's garbage.
So you couldn't co-retire the number because they both wore it for an extended period. Like LeBron in Cleveland and in LA, then he's gone back and forth. When he was in Miami, I think he was number 6 exclusively, right? I don't think he wore number 23 in Miami.
I think that's right, yeah. It was 23 in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then he moved to 6 in Miami.
Yeah. And then was number 23 when he went back to Cleveland, 23 when he's been in LA.
I think whoever wears it first gets dibs. Like, if you have an iconic player as big as Michael Jordan who wore it first, it doesn't matter who wears it after.
Oh, I agree.
It's only being retired.
Oh, it's his number. It's absolutely his number.
Whoever wore it first. So I don't think there's any co-retirement. I think LeBron has to understand that you are making the conscious decision that you will never have that number retired in your name. So either pick another number or
I saw someone, I can't remember who said this, someone in LA, like a Laker legend, suggested that LeBron could get a statue in LA. And like he's got one. If he doesn't have one already in Cleveland, he's going to get one in Cleveland. Was it James Worthy?
Sense.
James Worthy? Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense. In
Cleveland,
LA,
100%.
Let's pump our tires a second.
That's the weird thing. Like, yes, he's a great player. He passed Kareem as a Laker, and he did win a championship in LA, albeit a bubble,
this
COVID.
Is the thing. There's asterisks.
Yeah, it was not the same, especially from a fan experience standpoint. No one could go to Staples and actually see it happen. So you didn't get the full ride of him winning the same way the Lakers did when Kobe was there, or Magic, or Shaq, or Kareem, whatever it is, has to be like dating back decade after decade.
When you think of that franchise,
it doesn't feel like it because of how great the Lakers are and how many great players they've had. The idea that LeBron would be in that category.
No, it doesn't make sense. Give him a statue in Cleveland and leave it there.
Yeah, like he's not getting one in Miami. No,
I'm giving D Wade one.
Yeah, for sure.
But not LeBron.
No, Wade is definitely statue worthy in Miami. But LeBron was there for 4 years. Great 4 years. Phenomenal 4 years.
Yeah.
But KD's not getting one in Golden State. He had a great 2 years.
No.
Right? He had a great 2 years, though, back-to-back. He won Finals MVP
even
both
Clay
years.
and Draymond aren't going to get statues in Golden State. It's going to be Curry, and that's going to be it.
You don't think Clay or Draymond are going to get one?
I don't think so.
I could see it.
No, when you have a trio like that make up a dynasty, I don't know.
Like Steph is the king.
Well, that's the thing. When you have one that stands head and shoulders above the others, that's the one that gets a statue. Unless you want to immortalize that dynasty as a statue of 3 of them together.
And then does Steve Kerr get one?
No.
No?
No. Let's think about that for a second. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but Steph, 100%.
Yes.
Like Clay and Draymond are not far off. We've had this conversation with other teams that have been dynasties or have had a great run. Like the Blackhawks, you look at Chicago. Like, does Kane get one? or Kane, Taves, Keith, Quinville. I don't know. Considering what happened,
I was
going to
say there's some
possibly not
here. Nobody might be getting one.
Yeah, possibly not. But putting that aside,
as
difficult as that can be, based on what they did on the ice and the achievements they made, like clearly
Taves
Patrick Kane and Taves are
yes.
getting a statue, I would think.
Yeah, I could see the two of them.
But Keith was phenomenal.
He's a big part. I know he's a big part of it. You can only give out so many statues, though. Retire the jersey. So it goes in the level of things.
Yes.
It goes tribute video, and then retirement of jersey. Statue is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
So not everybody can get a statue.
No, it should be a very limited amount of athletes that are even in contention for a statue. You can't cheapen a statue.
Yes. Like you can't water it down.
No. I mean, Dustin Brown has one in LA.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry.
I don't agree with that.
It's absolutely asinine.
Yeah. That's trying to create a legacy.
With all due respect, that's crazy.
Agreed.
That is crazy. All right, the podcast is the Mound Visit Podcast. He is former MLB reliever, former Blue Jay, one of our favorites, Jason Grilli, joining us. What's happening, Jason?
What's happening there? I don't have a statue, but I do have some bobbleheads. Does that count?
Yes.
Yeah,
bobbleheads are just as good.
Do you have a former team where you think you could make the best case for maybe not a statue, but a jersey retirement, anything like that?
I'm not statue worthy. I know what some people have done to statues. I don't need a statue.
But you do have a meme. You have a celebratory meme with the Jays that lives on the internet, and I see it at least once a month of the one celebration where you're just fired up coming off the mound. I think that works. As good as a statue.
That counts for something.
Yeah, I'd rather have that. It's more me. I'm not a person that can stand still, as you can see from that meme, right?
Yeah, I got you. Well, it's great to have you on. We're into the second half. The Jays have been red hot. You've been in clubhouses post All-Star break where the expectations are high. I wonder if you can kind of take us into that type of clubhouse where you got a veteran team, you got a good team winning ball games, they're in a wild card spot. Like, does the vibe change in the second half? What's it like in the clubhouse today compared to maybe back in April?
Yeah, well, the breakdown's always the same in the sense that, if you're going to be a 500 club, 50 games, 50 wins, 50 losses, and then what do you do with the other 62? And in that division, man, I'm a huge Blue Jay fan, and I always give love to Toronto. I wish I was there longer, but I still root for them as I did as a kid. And I look at that division, and can they make a run? Yeah, I think they're going to have to pull off a good trade, but they may have, the good veteran leadership in there, as you said. I think just continuing to get hot and surround yourself with something that rallies, around each other, something that they can have those good vibes and good spirits, because you got to have a good time. Anytime you want to win and you are winning, and at the very end, when you're dumping that champagne, everybody always says we had a good group of guys. So it looks like they do. I know they've been fighting for this playoff run to go a little bit further than in years past. And I think with each time that you have that experience and you lose, it makes that run for winning and push for running to not duplicate that a lot easier. But yeah, it's going to take a lot, especially in that division. Like I said, it's a bloodbath. The AL East is the hardest division. It's going to be fun to watch. I mean, I think the Blue Jays, if they were in any other division, you're having a whole different conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no question.
So, it's like the group of death every year. From a player perspective, if you're looking to go to another team, do you take that into consideration? You look at the AL East and you go, man, that's a tough division. Does that factor into maybe you don't want that to be a landing spot because you know how difficult it's going to be?
No, I loved it. It is hard. I mean, you can relish in the victory of it, but it's also very humbling in any division, but more so than not. And I call it the heavyweight division. It's a Tyson fight every night. Look at even what the Orioles are doing. They were the doormat for a while, and they've had this surgence where they're top of mind, top of talk right now. They got a pretty good team, as well as Tampa Bay, and even at the bottom, it's like I said, you guys got winning teams all fighting for two spots in that division. So It's gonna be awesome. I think if you haven't played in that division, I've played in all of them, but some of my favorite jersey is the one that I got to play in there. And even when I got smeared a couple times, I relished in getting back up and getting in that fight again. So I'm going to enjoy watching it just as much. I've been paying attention as much as I can be. I was happy to see even Vladdy win the home run derby. So little things like that, momentum, positive, uplifting things do carry over. And I just hope, like I said, a good stretch of good runs and good wins is going to be all it takes sometimes when you start feeling that vibe and you get closer into September. August is the toughest month, but September, when you get close to that, smelling that, and you're in the hunt, that's when the big boys come out, and you see the ball bigger, and you lock in more, and you really see the guys that are your marquee people stepping up, and even guys that aren't. It's their time to shine. It's fun to watch.
With Jason Grilli, and you mentioned the AL East and how much of a beast of a division it is. To put it into perspective, the Yankees are still 5 games over 500, yet they are in sole possession of last place in the AL East through 95 games for the first time since 1990, which again is somewhat of a deceptive stat because they're 50 and 45. It's not like they're on pace for 62 wins. I mean, this is a team that's going to finish above 500, but I'm curious where you stand with them, Jason. Like, if they weren't the Yankees, would we be looking at them as maybe a team that should be selling come the deadline? Do you have any faith that they can actually get back in the race? Because, Baltimore's hot, the Jays are hot, and the Rays have been pretty good all year.
Right. My buddy Sean Casey just got named the hitting coach.
That's right.
There as well. So, his energy, that's what everybody's looking for. And the Yankees added him as a piece to try to spark that up while Judge is out there. They lost a tough one I saw the other day. But again, I think every team, the Yankees are the Yankees, so it's hard to pretend that they're not. As well as the Blue Jays, who always, have some firepower and money behind them too. So anybody in that division can pull some major trades, bring in some marquee players. I think that always excites the clubhouse. If you get a big piece to go, this guy's going to help us down now for the immediacy, maybe for the long term as well. I know Stroman was a name that was talking about, look what he's been doing, in his career, and maybe adding back that piece. I think Toronto would welcome him again, knowing what kind of energy and flair he brings. So, yeah, it's fun to win in Toronto. I'm glad I could say that I did. And, again, I'm rooting for our guys. I'm a Blue Jay fan, and I hope we get the pieces of it rather than the Yankees.
Okay, we all hope that's the case. We got Alek Manoah going tonight. He's had a bit of a dip lately. Had to go down to the Florida Complex League. Things didn't go well. He's back up. Pitched decently against the Detroit Tigers. He's got his first home start tonight against the San Diego Padres. We've been kind of arguing. My stance is when you have a pitcher going through something and you want to see them get back on track, maybe the fans can be a little kinder. Hayes thinks that players do not care and do not hear a thing from the fan base. From a player perspective, if you're going back out there and you already are maybe doubting your stuff, do you hear the fan base at all? Do you hear what's happening in the stadium, or you are just clearing the mechanism like Kevin Costner and you don't even notice?
Well, the really good ones can do that. We're all human inside those uniforms. So, yeah, sometimes shaking confidence, especially from your hometown fans. I've been booed in Detroit. I got booed out of Detroit. That stung. It always stings. But, when you let your team down, you let your city down, it hurts. And no one wants to be on that side of it, trust me. When you go out after a game to eat some restaurant, you have a drink with your buddies, and every place every TV in the place is on, and you see your highlight, a low light, I should say. Come on, you want to leave and go home and bury your head in the pillow in the hotel room. So I just say, hey man, rally around him. We know what he's capable of doing. There's an e-column. There's mistakes that are made. It's a very hard game. To me, I even look now. I said now being out of it so long, I wonder where I would fit. These guys are freaks of nature. The game's getting bigger, faster, stronger all the time. And, it's a hard game. You got to be on it every night. It's an intense lifestyle. It's an intense game. Fans expect to win. No less than the guys that are in the uniform. But I would like to see him get back to where he's capable of being. And if his confidence was stirred a little bit, maybe the success sometimes is harder to deal with because it's repeating. Once you receive it, like he did, and some players have, it's hard to go, how can I do that again? Sometimes I want to say it's luck, but the hard work. I mean, I lost my job as a closer and pitched and did everything in between. When you're on, you're on, and the team wants to win, and they go with the guy that has the hot hand or the hot bat. So, just, if you can give encouragement, I think the fans can rally behind it. It's easy to boo, but the game is easier the further you get away from it, right?
Right,
it's easy
exactly.
to be on the couch.
Yeah, it always is. Yeah, it always is with Jason Grilli. You mentioned the Stroman reports, rumors, possibly linked, to coming back up here. You obviously were on the team when he was here. What was your relationship like with Marcus Stroman?
He's just a great guy to have that swag and brings a lot of that. He works hard. I wish I maybe did some of the stuff that he did because he's in great shape. And, like I said, the work ethic that guy puts in, you can't deny it. So if he can bring some winning flair and attitude back to the six, I don't think that's a bad pickup.
So we're probably going to see Marcus Stroman moved at the trade deadline. We are wondering if we're going to see Shohei Ohtani moved at the trade deadline because I don't know in what world it makes sense for the Angels to keep him. Of all the landing spots that there could be for Shohei Ohtani, which one makes the most sense for you? We're hoping Blue Jays.
I have to make that decision because I don't know if Angel fans would show up to the ballpark getting rid of their best player, and that's with Mike Trout on your team too. I don't know. That's a tough call. I hate to say the Dodgers, but it seems like that's always fitting, just because they're the ones that always seem to come out of pocket. They don't hold back. I would hate for him. I understand. What does he need to accomplish left? He wants to win, like every player.
Yep.
Right. You go through all the things, the marquee things that players want, and the last thing they need to do is win. And Ohtani wants to win, and no different than Mike Trout wants to win. The guy's there to build a supporting cast around. It's just moving a guy like that. I don't know who's willing to give up all their talent. And if I'm just throwing out the Dodgers, I think they have 8, 9, or 10 of the best top 100 prospects. Last I checked.
Yeah, they do.
So do you want to give up all that talent for something that's maybe some more of you deep in your future besides Ohtani? I mean, let's face it, the guy can get hurt. He's human too. It's what are you going to give up? It's a lot of variables. It's a tough call, but again, I'm sitting back watching real life here. It's the best reality TV show we got.
Yeah,
it's all this talk and sports, right?
It's the best. It is the best, and you can hear him on the Mound Visit podcast. We love it. Jason Grilli, former Blue Jay. Always appreciate you finding time for us. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, man, thanks for getting me on the mound back in Toronto. I always love you guys.
You got it. Absolutely. Anytime. There he is, Jason Grilli. You mentioned that meme. That's big, right? You become a meme.
Big, yeah.
You become a meme. That's not going to change.
That's another. I mean, you have meme status.
I think I do have meme status. I don't know what my number one meme would be. I got a few. Some of them are flattering. Some of them are truly horrendous.
The one I see the most is not good.
It's awful.
I wish that they would just can that one. Just get rid of it.
No, it's out there. It was gone forever. And you know what happened? I started bringing up past pictures and day ones at TSN, and
you opened the door.
Then they came alive again.
Well,
they came alive.
You have no one to blame then.
Yeah. Listen, if you're going to walk in with a bad shirt or you look horrible and there's a lot of cameras around, like I know what I'm walking into. I'm a big boy. You want to boo me? You can boo me. It won't affect me, Kara.
You bought the ticket.
You can boo me.
You put the TV on the channel.
That's right. I understand what I walked into. I get it. I understand.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there's some ugly memes. Bad memes. But you get a good positive meme, that's always a good thing too. Right?
I don't know. I don't think there's any memes of me out there.
Gotta be some memes.
I'm pretty good with it.
Gotta be me. See, because you're a professional. You understand.
I try to
you do anything stupid and you're screwed. right? Because generally meme status means is not overly flattering or a positive thing.
You're going viral for one of two
You've gone viral because you probably did something you were not supposed to, or people are laughing at you. Right?
In that case, I'm shocked I'm not a meme.
We'll find something for you.
Yeah, I'm sure
we'll find something
give it
for
time.
You. Yeah, you give us some time. We'll figure it out. All right, our buddy Luke Wilson coming up. See that report by Mike Florio about the running backs and the group chat, and they're all coming together? Yeah, okay, I'll tell you about that.
I'd love to hear this.
Yes, Luke coming up in about 20 minutes. Scott Mitchell from the Park as well. Jays Padres in about 45 minutes. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, Luke Wilson will join us in about 15 minutes. Scott Mitchell from the Park. Jays Padres tonight.
I feel like Luke fell off the grid.
Yeah,
he went into like cycling mode after NFL season wrapped. It's like he cut his hair, went into cycling mode, and became a different person, just fell completely off the grid, and he's just disappeared. Every now and then you see like a random cycling video posted on IG or something.
Yeah, I'll see him on Instagram, and it's basically exclusively cycling.
That's it.
Right? Almost exclusively. And he's dedicated to it. Like, he's trying to do it. He's trying to make it.
Yeah.
I got a lot of time for that. I mean, I don't have that type of attitude at all. I'm not making anything. I don't want to make it. I'm not trying to make it.
I'm
not doing anything.
In not interested in that much work. Every now and then I'll shoot him a text, just make sure he's still alive.
Yeah.
Hey, man, everything
How's
good?
It going?
Yeah, just trying to get faster on the bike.
Yeah, he's all good. But it's getting close to go time in the NFL. Like, camp's open for rookies today. Like 8 or 9 teams reported today.
Yeah, and then the 29th for everybody else?
You're within a week and a half of full-blown go time. And then you're going to have injuries. You're going to have holdouts. You're going to have hard knocks. Aaron Rodgers, your boy, right? The New York Jets.
Not my boy. I mean, the great selection for the hard knocks.
It's the best.
It's the best one they could have chosen.
It is the best possible option to have Aaron Rodgers introducing himself to New York, the Jets, that offense.
But tell me this doesn't happen. The Jets stumble out of the gate. Aaron Rodgers doesn't blame Hard Knocks.
Possibly could. Yes. I mean, he's already complaining about it.
Yeah.
He's already saying he doesn't want it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't need it. I don't think any player wants it.
No, I don't.
And if you're a guy like Rodgers, why do you need more cameras around? He's already famous. He's already an all-time great player. He's trying to get acclimated to a new team, new system for the first time in his career.
He's already
this is a big
quirky.
Adjustment for him.
I don't think he needs more of that exposed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, does he need to go viral for something else? You know, seems to be a consistent
Putting
theme
crystals
today.
around the locker room for
ayahuasca for the boys.
Yeah.
You know, who needs it? Who wants it? Who's selling?
Normally,
who's buying?
quarterbacks buy their O-line, watches.
Yeah, he gets ayahuasca and a trip to Peru.
We're all going on a retreat.
Yeah, we're going to go to Peru and we're going to fire up some ayahuasca next year. So I don't know what to make of the Jets. Like, I know that defense. I know a lot of people are trying to attach the Brady Bucks to the Rodgers and the Jets, right? Like, all they needed was a quarterback to get over the top.
Sure.
But I don't think the Jets are as good as that Bucks team. And I also think they're the Jets. Like, they find a way to screw everything up.
I know, but I think the Jets are going to be really good.
They're in a tough division, though.
They're in a very tough division.
Miami's good.
Their defense was already good.
Yep.
They have so many offensive weapons for Rodgers already.
Young.
The one hole was at quarterback.
Yeah. Is their offensive line great? Is it elite? I don't know.
Can't be that much worse than Green Bay.
No, but Bakhtiari's back.
Yeah, that's true.
Bakhtiari's back. Listen, I'm not sleeping on my Packers. I know the rest of the world will. I know people think they're going to be brutal, but they're the opposite of the Jets in terms of the winning atmosphere that they have and the culture that they have.
Yeah.
Like, the Jets find a way to lose. And I believe that'll happen. I believe
it's got to stop at some point, though.
I don't think it will.
I don't
think
know.
the Jets will find a way to lose.
I think the Jets are going to be good this year.
I think the Bears will find a way to lose. I think the Lions will find a way to lose. And I think the Packers will find a way to win.
Luke definitely will agree with you on the Lions.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I think he probably will. Quickly, I want to give a shout out to Cole Goodine. He's 9 years old. He's a tough kid, hockey player, great player. He's had a tough go of it. He's in sick kids. He's been there for a while, grinding through surgeries. But what I'm hearing from my boy TJ, his family sounds like he's doing great. He's getting through it. So I want to give a shout out to Cole. We don't do a lot of shout outs, but for special ones, sick kids, every once in a while you make that exception.
Cole,
so shout out to Cole.
Of you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out. All right, hour 3 coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.